30. And we'll go ahead and get started. We can go ahead and take care of our roll call, please.
District 1, John Goliath.
Here.
District 2, Mr. Hughes.
Present.
District 3, Dave Emery.
Here.
District 4, Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
District 5, Sean State.
Here.
And one listening public.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And also want to go ahead and take the time. Welcome, Molly. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. And for the council, just so you're aware, Molly is going to be a legal advice from this point on. So she'll be joining us from this point on. All right, let's go ahead and all stand and let's go ahead and take care of pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. And we'll go ahead and jump right into number 4. And this is Citizens to be Heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the City Council on any issue or any item of the agenda in compliance with LGC Section 551.007. City Council may not discuss any presented issue, nor may any action be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes. Okay. I don't have anybody signed up to go ahead, but I will go ahead and ask. Is anybody here to provide any comments? Citizens to be heard. Going once, going twice. All right, Annette, you can actually go ahead and put on there. No comments. All right, let's go ahead and move on into the next one. Item number 5, this is the award for appreciation to our builder inspector, to Mr. Troy Martin. So let's go ahead and take care of this. Good opportunity. Mr. Martin, come on up, sir. Hey, Richie. Come on up. Appreciate it once again. So, one of the unique things that we get a chance is be able to recognize some folks for their dedicated service to our community. And come on up, we're going to take a photo here shortly. I'll be able to put it on there. But we didn't want to miss out the opportunity because you've been with us for 23 years. 23 years of taking care of the city. And I tell you, you can probably go around all these different residential buildings and business buildings, and you can probably say, well, I know what's behind that wall, right? Yes, sir. So he was the man that actually took care of that for us, making sure that things were done correctly, lined up correctly, and then, of course, with the final inspection. So this is a small token of appreciation on behalf of all the council and the city to go ahead and present this. And this is City on the Grow Award of Appreciation presented to Troy Martin in recognition for 23 years of dedicated service to the city of Lytle as a city inspector. And this is from May 2000 to October of 2023.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any comments you want to share?
This is a job that I look forward to doing today.
Yes, sir.
And that should be what you look forward to. So I'm really enjoying it. And I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Council, if you can all please stand right over here. We're going to take a you stand right here. We're going to go ahead and take a quick photo like this. And I'm going to look at that camera over here. Take a quick photo. There you go. All right. Good. Well, there we go. Round of applause. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it very much.
Thanks for helping us out.
Good luck.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 6, consent agenda. A, consider approval of the minutes, and we'll take a look at October the 10th, 2023.
Mayor, I want to start by making a motion to approve the minutes for October 10th, 2023 as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Okay, got a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? All right. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, October the 23rd, 2023.
Mayor, I want to go ahead and make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for October the 23rd, 2023 as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any against? Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on to B, consider approval of the payment of the bills. And you should have a list in front of you that I think, actually, Matt sent it out over the weekend. And then this is the same list that you have right up.
The item below that, top of the item, is that part of the business? So that person is still. And the new person.
Mayor, I'm moving to pay the bills.
Okay, got a motion on the floor for us to pay the bills. You have a second? All those in favor? Opposed? All right, let's go ahead and go into the open session. This is take action on items discuss, update, and discuss on the violation notice from Railroad Commission of Texas regarding the city replacement of system pipe enclosure, greatest risk at a minimum ready for 50%. Anthony, come on up.
We've identified 7 services. So we're working with the Rural Commission on that mitigation plan, but where the services that we that will be part of it. There were no funds associated with this, so we started with no indication of emergency.
Do you have a timeline by when you have to get this taken care of?
Or anything like this, if you want to take care of this. The contract itself, what is that contract?
Where are we at for replacements in 2023?
I don't have this figure in front of me, what we've seen over the past couple of years. So that is one thing that how much stuff covered, and also new services that are absolutely ready. All of them have absolutely nothing that they can do. That's really just
How many risky facilities?
so the good news is we don't have a lot of things. This would be for, well, technically, those ones, they want the leadership groups, they do. They're very well geared. And there's falls into that category. It still doesn't have, it doesn't have a meter, it's still a lot of gas.
Anything else, council? This is just an update. They want to design. Some other substances and additional All right, nobody else? Thanks again, Anthony. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming over and briefing us. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and go on to B. Consider and act upon awarding a bank depository contract for a 5-year term to Vital State Bank. Yes.
So council, we issued a 21-day RFP for banking institution, and at the conclusion of that 21 days, we only received one. So the grading process was very hard for us. It would be our recommendation that we award the depository service contract to Vital State Bank with service to begin November 23rd, or 2023, and extend to September 2028.
Motion on the floor, I'll second. You have a second? Further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed?
Todd Stain there, my father, he's a director of Lost State Bank, and he's got shares in the bank, so to avoid the appearance of impropriety, I can't, put it on board.
All right. Thank you so much, appreciate that. And Vital State Bank, Randy, would you like to say something?
Just real quick, I do appreciate the continued relationship that we've had with the city of Vital. I've been at the bank for almost 40 years, and there now 40 years. We've always had a relationship with the city of Vital, and before me, it was before that, so I'm sure since the inception of the bank back in 1910, which the city was already here. So I'm very happy to see the continued relationship. The board thought it was very serious, and when we heard about this, just in all the years we've never had to do this, but we understand that things do change. And so it looked like it was for the better, but now we got a 5-year contract. As you can tell the seriousness of it, most of my management team came with me to see what needed to be done or if anything else that we could do. But we will continue to give the city of Vital our utmost service and answer any questions that the city employees and the management staff have for us. So we look forward to another great 5 years with you guys.
Appreciate it, Randy, and thank you for everything that you guys do in this community. It's well known, helping out different businesses, helping out individuals, just making sure that they're taken care of as best as possible. And a little extra too, I just want to say thanks for looking out for our veterans too. I know you guys always take a little extra and try to help out some of those families or veterans that are going through some challenging times. So we just want to say thank you.
The city is very important to us, as the school is, and the students and so forth, and the VFW. And the way we look at it, we need the positive terms of the bank stay in the community. And that's why you see us giving out scholarships and Vital, Divine, Natalia. So our money stays in the community, not in Bernie or Waco or whatever. So we are a true community bank and here for the city. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all. You're more than welcome to stay. Stick around if you want, but
I think we're gonna go.
it's time for dinner, right? Yeah.
I'm going with the
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know you. I talk to you all the time.
All right. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. C, consider and act upon an amendment to the gas sales contract between the city of Lidle and WTG Gas Marketing dated June the 1st, 2009, which revising Exhibit A of said contract to reflect increased upstream transportations and fuel charges.
So that's just it, council. In talking with West Texas Gas and some other items, they brought this forth. So what they're increasing is going from $1.40 per MMBTU to $1.75 MMBTU. So it's not a very big increase overall. It's just covering their trucking costs. So the way it works is whatever the Houston Ship Channel market price is for that time, we pay that plus this amount. So you can see it hadn't been done in the last 2 years. I'm surprised we haven't seen this increase every year, realistically. So I think we just move forward and allow me to authorize, or allow me to sign, or execute the document, and keep moving.
So everything else is just the same? I
Everything
thought
else,
it was
nothing-
interesting that force majeure clause that the city is equally responsible for reclamation. That's standard?
Jesse looked at it, and I don't think he saw any issues with it. I mean, again, we just purchased the gas from West Texas Gas. It gets into our distribution lines over here.
You know, I'm
It's
just
just-
wondering how much of that, if something were to happen on the Houston Ship Channel, how much of that liability goes to the city of Lido? But I mean, if it's never been an issue before, and it's something that doesn't fall that far down the line. Okay.
Council, I need a motion. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. I move that we amend the gas sales contract from the city of Lido, West Texas Gas Marketing dated June 1st, 2009. Providing for the SA contract reflecting the sales agreement.
Motion on the floor, and a second. Further discussion.
Yeah, I mean, the alternative, Matt, is that we don't have gas.
Yes, exactly.
Now we gotta have gas.
There-
With that gets annually, so we'll be renegotiating with them next year.
If they bring one to us, I can tell you, in budgeting last year, we actually reached out to West Texas Gas and said, hey, are there any increases? And we never heard back from them. So surprisingly, for the last 2 years, they haven't did anything.
Any other further comments? All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and jump into D, and this is update and discussion on the status of repairs to city water well number 2. Matt?
So I'm gonna, if I don't mind, I'm gonna start this, and Foreman Hernandez is here, he can come up and answer more of the technical stuff that I don't understand. But what I can tell you is on September 11th of 23, I was made aware that our water well number 2, which is the water well the city had for a number of years and we ran off of until well 4 came online. But I was informed that that well had been offline since August of 22, right after the new well went online. Of course, that was very concerning to me, considering the whole reason we drilled the second well was to then have 2 wells, so one went down. So at that point, Foreman Hernandez informed me the reason it went down is because the chlorine head on it had gotten wet and went bad. And just a new one was never purchased for whatever reason. So right away, I said, let's purchase a new chlorine head, let's get the well back online. And Foreman Hernandez said, hey, before we put it online, we need to flush it and we need to send it off for testing to make sure the water's safe. And I'll let him come and speak. Well, we've got some issues with the quality of the water now. We've been flowing and flowing and flowing, but Foreman Hernandez can touch any bases more on it.
Been trying to push it out since September because one of the samples came out bad on well 4. So if that well would have gone down, it would have been without water. So we strained the situation out. Started flushing the well, like I said, shortly after September 9th. And for some reason, the water's not clearing up. It has, I guess, petroleum and some other bacteria in there. I took a sample 2 weeks ago, so I won't get the results till maybe the first or second week of December and find out what's in the water. See if it's petroleum, because like I said, it's sticking to pretty much everything that's on the ground or plastic containers, whatever you use. The samples have been coming out bad, not for E. coli, but other bacteria. And all I've been doing like right now is just keep flushing it until see what the results come back as.
So our hopes is in the year that it sat there stagnant, not flowing water, it just, whatever it is, kind of pulled in there. I think we had the same issue with well 4 the mayor, so we had to flush it for quite a while. The difference is well 4 flows at like 1,600 gallons a minute, where this is only 600 gallons a minute. It took almost 2 weeks of flushing well 4 to get it clear up. So we could be looking at 3 times the amount of that time.
That, and hopefully, I'm hoping the casement's not, corroded, where it's sticking everything in. So if that's the case, then we'll have to get a warrant for it. See if we can reline it or.
Council, just so you know, we weren't informed until we started looking at maintenance and a few other things that need to be taken care of. So it wasn't until here in the last few that we figured out that this was not online. We, from the time that we went to the 2 wells, that system was programmed to come on. I was advised that it was being done manually. That's what I was told. And it was actually being run. And we even talked about it inside this council chambers too, a few times. Unfortunately, a month after we brought the other one, is that correct, Robbie, approximately? That well has actually been off, so it's been stagnant all this time, and now we're at a point where we need to go ahead and try to figure out how to bring it back up.
Figure out what we want.
And that's what the last step is. Talking to another well expert, they said just test for everything, so it takes a lot. So we are testing for absolutely anything that could be in the water, and then we can make a little more of an informed decision and move forward.
So we wanted the council to be aware of where we're at right now. We wanted everybody to be aware that we're basically running with 1 well right now. The good thing is it's a new well, and it's producing and it's doing everything. I would be a lot more worried if it was the old well and we were running just because of the way we were operating for. And if you remember, we ran 20+ years with 1 well. That's all we had, 1 well. So we were just misled where we were at with that well, and now we're trying to bring it back up.
We only have 2 wells.
Yes.
So that's where we're at. So this one is just to bring you up to speed. We want to make sure everybody's aware of where we're at with that, everything that we're doing. And I think he said it's the first part of December when you get that,
Yeah,
that
either
big
the
test
first week
back.
or the second week. I'll sit down and form it.
So, and Matt will keep us informed. He'll actually let us know now that we're actually at a point of,
Depending on how those tests come back, we may just, may contact somebody to send a camera down. I don't know what else to do, send a camera down there to see, get some more well experts involved. We were hoping, in talks that it would just set so long, we just need to flush the junk out of it, right? Like I said, well, 4 came back with a bad test, but we said the second one, it was fine, so it was a contaminated bottle. But had that second test come back positive, we'd have taken well 4 offline to sanitize it, clean, and we would have been without any water in the town. Very serious. That's why having 1 well is so serious. And we thought we were back up on the positive side, and here we are getting back to 1.
So that answers my question as far as who is responsible. I know Mr. Gay has an item coming up to discuss the wells, but essentially, it was good.
Yes.
You said that you found out September 11th.
Yes, sir.
Why was the council informed on September 11th?
Because we were hoping we could just flush it and get it back online, to be honest with you. And it's after a few weeks of it not working, that's when we brought it to the next level. The wellhead, we were told the chlorinator had gone bad on it. So right away, we bought a new chlorinator head. That got installed and we began to flush it, and it just wasn't clearing up.
Yeah, and talking about future items, I know, Robbie, you're coming up, talking about, taking over as Public Works Director. And the future stuff like this needs to be brought to the council's attention because we gotta get it fixed. You know, I'm not pointing the finger at you, I'm just putting it out there for everybody.
Yeah.
Because running on 1 well is unacceptable. Especially with all the stuff that we have going on. So I hate to hear it. If we cannot flush it out, that does not work. What are the alternatives as far as treating it with chemicals or?
I've treated it with corn already. I've put about 100 pounds of powder. And just won't clear up.
I think the next step is we just need to find out what's inside of it, and then we're gonna give guidance.
That's
of
what
we need to
they,
do. Is
that's
that
what's
correct, Rob?
gonna be done for it. Find out what's in there, see what we can do. I'm not gonna have to hire a well expert to see if the placing's leaking or.
make sure the council's aware, we have not sat stagnant on this since October 11th. We've been working on fixing it with everything we've known to do. So, yeah, it wasn't like we just sat there and nothing was going on until tonight.
Well, I say that, Matt, because us knowing and calling a special meeting and getting in here on the 12th to address it, to give you tools, whatever resources you need to get fixed your department, the city as a whole. What about Edwards, TCUQ? Have they been informed of this, that we're down to one well? Do we need to report to them about a well having any
The well's not,
contamination?
well,
The well's not in, yeah, the well's not in,
It's not,
use
it's
right now,
not
but
distributing water to
yeah,
a distribution
until it gets
system.
cleaned up, yeah.
So it's gotta get that clean bill of health.
Yeah.
In order for it to start to distribute water.
it's not in our system whatsoever. And we, up until, and not even tonight, we don't need any action from council. I mean, we're still moving through the steps. If something comes in where there's a big ticket item where we need to address council and ask for additional money that aren't budgeted, we'll be here, I promise you.
I can, council, I just can express to you, sure that Robbie and the folks have been working really hard on trying to get that up and running. Different hours, just trying to flush it, and at the same time, just checking it. But the first thing that they had to do is obtain the parts that were supposed to have been ordered last year, that were never ordered. So we had to wait for those parts to actually come in before we could take the next steps. So appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Robbie, I know you put in a lot of personal time, even in the middle of the night, just to make sure that we're doing what we're trying to do to take care of that. So you've done a great job. We really appreciate that. And we'll just be waiting for the results and just keep us informed.
So it seems like the next calling for directors will work out.
I will tell you, without jumping into the next, but Robbie has been extremely busy with this and a few other things, just to make sure that we're up where we need to be.
Yeah, well, the council's gonna give you tools, if you turn out to be that person. You're gonna get support and tools from the council on how to move forward. But we need accountability for all this stuff. And I know it's not, like Charles said, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but some of this stuff's just not acceptable. And we need to move forward. Thank you.
All right, council, let's go ahead and move on. Thanks, Robbie, appreciate it. Okay, talking about Robbie, let's go ahead and move on to Ian. This is consider an act on authorizing hiring Robert Hernandez as the interim public works director and set salary. Matt?
So council, since our previous public works director retired, Robbie has stepped up into that position. I can tell you, he's, for lack of a better, taking a bull by the horns, right? I mean, in a 1 week period, we were able to fix leaks, make repairs, and get our systems somewhere that hadn't been in a number of years. So I met with Robbie and discussing with the mayor. I really, in my heart, can tell you, I think Robbie is the right person for this job. In a conversation today with another consultant the city uses, he actually told me if we were looking for another one, Robbie is the person to do it, unprovoked, unannounced to him. So I thought it was kind of interesting. So I met with Robbie, we talked about it. It's challenging because it's a new position for him too. But in conversations with him, he would like to do a 6-month interim position, where during that 6-month period, we don't fill the foreman position. That way, at the end of 6 months, we can evaluate. He can say, you know what, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, I want to take it full time, and then we proceed with filling the foreman. And the council the same way, say, you know what, we think you've done a great job, we want to keep you in the position, or you know what, we just don't think you're quite ready yet, kind of thing. In that same time, it will give him the opportunity to obtain all the licenses he needs. I can tell you in the last 3 months, he's already obtained his Class C water license and his Class D sewer license. He's 2 courses away and a state exam away from having his Class D sewer license. He's the right person for the job. He knows our system. And when I tell you, and like I say, you'll need a public or a city administrator to get out in the field to see what people do and how they work. That's why I go out there. I don't go out there to watch guys and to make sure they're not screwing around. I go out there to see who's the right people to fit. Robbie takes command of his guys and gives direction. Watching them work now versus before, night and day difference to me. The guys don't ask questions. They don't look for 100% direction. They know what to do. They get in, they fix it, and we get out of the hole. We move on. So, with that being said, it's our recommendation. I met with Robbie over this that we set a salary currently at $66,000 a year for the first 6 months. And then at the end of the 6 months, it increases to $69,000 If he accepts it and y'all approve it for full-time, and he's fully licensed at that point, which he will be.
So the license that's pending would fulfill the requirements of that position?
Yes, sir. It'd be the exact same license as our previous director.
Will it fulfill?
Yes, it'll fulfill it. So currently,
I'm not comparing apples and oranges.
yeah,
I
it's
said
the
it
required
will
license.
satisfy
Yes, sir.
requirements.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I move that we hire Roberto Hernandez as interim public works director on a 6-month probationary period and set his salary at $66,000 per year with an increase to $69,000 per year after successfully completing probation and obtaining all required licenses.
Okay, a motion on the floor?
second.
Any second? Any further discussion?
So we're gonna have a vacancy at foreman. How many vacancies do we currently have in public works?
3. Yes, yeah, well, 3. So we had, so we had two filled. One of those people have already left and went somewhere else. That put us back to the 3 openings. We have a gentleman that as soon as we can get back his physical and drug screen and those are cleared, he'll be fit to work. So that'll leave us with 2, one of those being that foreman position that we won't fill until after the 6-month period. We've got some more applicants for the other open position, and we're moving forward.
I mean, looking forward to the future, how many foremen are you gonna need coming up, Robbie? You take over full-time, everything goes well, going into 2024 and beyond, you need 2 foremen? Can we look at hiring another foreman? So,
If we get to that point that we need it, yes, but I mean, right now, we're okay right now with the one.
yeah, I just don't wanna leave you high and dry and not having enough
Yeah.
men or women to be out there, getting the work done. So, I mean, I know what you're saying, leave the position open, but at the same time, manning is important.
Yes, sir.
So, if you need it, come back.
We'll do.
If you gotta change your mind, say, hey, look, I love it, all right, find a foreman.
Okay, we'll do.
Yeah, and I will tell you, and Robbie, it's all the council, and just to let you know, we all feel the same way too, being able to take care of that. What you have been able to accomplish is just huge. I mean, within a couple of weeks, you were able to knock out leaks that have been open 3 to 10 years that have been going on. And you guys knocked it out. No, by the way, it was only 3 of you, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
because there was folks that were out during that time. So these guys can perform, council. They know what they're doing and they've been able to take care of it. And I think it's gonna be a great thing. Okay, any other comments? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Congrats, Robbie. Look forward to it. You're doing a great job, okay? Keep us informed. All right, let's go ahead and move on to F. Consider and act upon setting allocation of the city's 13 votes for Medina County Appraisal District Board of Directors. Matt?
So council, we've got that ballot that came in from Medina County, and I need to see how y'all want to allocate those 13 votes. The council gets 13 votes to elect one of, or amongst those 8 people. So I'm not sure how y'all want to do that, if y'all want to empower one person on the council to do it, you want to empower a committee, split the vote, I don't know, so that's why we're here to you.
What have we done previously?
I don't know, I've never seen one of these. So,
And how long, is this term that they serve on the board of directors for?
resolution, don't know, sir. 2024 to 2025, Board of Directors for Medina County Appraisal District, 2024 to 2025.
2 years, so a 2-year term, starting, I guess, January 1st? I see on there, we have until December 15th, because honestly, looking at the candidates, I recognize one name on that list. I don't know enough about any of these people, what their previous experience is. I think everybody can, attest to the fact that the values in Medina County are a little high.
Amen.
Chief has a lemonade stand out front of his house, trying to make a couple extra bucks on the weekend. But I don't know enough about, to make an informed decision. I know Jerry Beck, but other than that, I don't know anybody else.
Well, I'd like to make a motion on this. Seeing as you live in Medina County and you work a real job in Medina County, you probably know or have connections to find out about more of these people than anybody else. So my motion is that we delegate to our mayor to do any necessary investigation he feels appropriate and make a decision for the council. Nominate that person after bringing it back to us, and letting us know we have to December 15th, we have time to do that.
Next meeting.
Okay. Have him bring back to us next meeting, the person that he.
I'll second that.
Further discussion?
So
I'd like to, the discussion, can I just add something? And since I'm on there, could you amend and include our city administrator to go ahead and
Sure.
do that?
I would like to amend my motion that, in addition to the mayor, doing what I mentioned, that we add our city administrator.
That way we both can actually sit down and go through it.
Second my amendment.
All right,
I just going to state that of the 8 that's on the ballot, 4 are currently members. So going to take that into consideration as well.
How many members do they have?
I still. 6. So basically, 2 more. I mean, the positions will should as well.
we'll come back on the next meeting. We'll go ahead and come back with that. Okay, so with that in mind, if there's no other further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All right, thank you so much, appreciate that. Okay, before we get into G on here, as we get into our next agenda item, I must recuse myself for this item since I filed a complaint. David Emery, our mayor pro temp, will take over for this agenda item. Lynette, if you can please show the minutes, the adjustment in the sense of him taking over. It is 7:12 p.m. So, turn it over back.
Well, let's move on to item G, discuss and consider the ethics ordinance complaint dated August 14th, 2023, filed against Alderman Charles Kate, alleging violation of ordinance 22-06, section 2-65, and the report to City Council on the Ethics Commission review of the complaint regarding the same. And Ms. Lewis, if you would come here.
This is the report summary of the meeting of the Ethics Commission held on October 30th. And
May I just advise everybody before you continue? Ms. Elise is our city attorney now, and she is also our ethics advisor, legal ethics advisor.
so the ethics ordinance adopted by the council provided for complaint process. The complaint process began in August. The procedural steps were complied with. The Ethics Commission held its first meetings on October 30th, where they took action to name a chairman and a vice chairman. 4 members of the commission were present. 1 member had to recuse themselves because of their appointment by Mr. Tate. The complaint is against Mr. Tate, so that commissioner was not allowed to participate in that item, which is the discussion of the complaint. So the meeting actually was to determine if there was just cause to move forward with a hearing and investigation. The ethics ordinance provides for a process for the commission to review the complaint and determine if they deem that it needs to go forward to a hearing and an investigation. So they received the written complaint filed by the mayor on August 14th, Alderman Cate's response to the complaint, Mayor Gonzalez's reply to his response, and also the preliminary report from the city attorney ethics advisor on the complaint and the ordinance requirements and whether they have been met. At the meeting, Alderman Kate and his attorney, Tom Kate, attended the meeting. Mayor Gonzalez did not attend the meeting. At the meeting, the commission was given and considered additional written materials and oral comments from Charles Kate as well as Tom Kate. Again, the complainant, Mayor Ruben Gonzalez, was not present or given the opportunity to submit additional written materials or oral comments to the commission in support of the complaint or in response to the documentation or comments at the meeting by Charles and Tom Kate. That was not necessarily the proper procedure that should have happened. I believe that it was construed as the hearing. It was not supposed to be the hearing. It was supposed to be a review of the complaint to determine if a hearing should be held. Obviously, at a hearing, then an individual who is accused would be allowed to provide a defense for themselves, and the complainant would be allowed to respond to that. In this case, none of that happened. But the arguments made at the meeting were some of the same arguments that were submitted in writing by Mr. Kate on his response as to argued deficiencies in the ordinance, specifically that the ordinance does not state that it applies to a current council member. It is implied that it applies from the date of effectiveness. And in this situation, it was argued that it did not apply to the current council members, although all of the council members have complied with that requirement to file the financial disclosures.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Before all this began, I believe Jesse was there, serving as a legal advisor. Did he inform the commission members clearly what the purpose of the meeting was to decide whether or not to have a hearing?
I was not there, but I have reviewed the video recording of the proceedings, and he did advise that they were there to consider whether there was cause or no just cause of the complaint to proceed forward. I do think that the commission would have benefited from a formal training on the ordinance, which did not occur prior to them, considering the complaint at hand. However, would have occurred prior to them holding a hearing on the matter. So I believe that he did inform them that they were there to determine if there was cause for the complaint to move forward or no just cause. That was my review of the video.
Did you get any feedback from Jesse about the awareness of Robert's rules by the commission, about how meetings like this should run?
I did not get any feedback from Jesse about that. My viewing of the video indicated that Robert's rules were not followed as part of the meeting. There was no orderly proceeding of the meeting, and the process was not done in a manner that indicated that they were following Robert's rules, which is required by the ordinance of the commission to follow Robert's rules of order. However, I think because it was their first meeting, and they were just now convening for the first time and electing their chair and vice chair, that was something maybe they should have also had training on prior to hearing any type of matter. However, due to the time constraints in the ordinance and the required time frame for holding this meeting to review the complaint, there was no time for that. So there's a maximum time frame to consider the complaint, and that date was like, I think it was either the same day or maybe November 1st was the date that it had to be completed, and was held on October 30th. So it was clear that it was not an orderly proceeding. From reviewing the video, that is public record, if anybody would like to review it, it could be requested under the Public Information Act. But the argument was that the ordinance does not specify the word current when applying to the financial disclosure to be filed by council members sitting and elected and assumed the position at the time the ordinance was passed, which was May.
But that
So
question was not before them.
the argument was made in that meeting.
But the
and
question
also-
itself was not, the commission is not there to set policy. They shouldn't really be there to interpret the policy, but whether to determine, well, I'm not gonna go into that.
You're correct, they are an advisory
Yeah.
advisory board, they do not set
But they made
policy.
that determination of whether it was to apply to current or not.
Correct,
And that was not a question before them.
that was not a question before them. The question was, did the complaint meet just cause to
Move
substantiate
forward.
a claim that the ordinance presented and the facts of the complaint met the criteria to proceed with a hearing and a possible investigation if the commission needed more information. So they did take action. They did recommend a finding of no just cause because the ordinance does not expressly provide upon passage and effective date of the ordinance that current city council members are required to file financial disclosures. So based on the commission's no just cause finding, the commission's recommendation is to dismiss the complaint. The voting on the motion for no just cause was as follows: in favor, 3, opposed, 0, 1 obviously recused themselves because they were not allowed to participate, and then 1 was absent. And actually, this should say 1 recused. I will correct that. It actually has it written out, sorry. Commissioner Cavillo was conflicted because he was Alderman Cates' appointee, and so he recused himself and did not vote. So it passed 3-0 to recommend to council no just cause, and that it be dismissed based on the ordinance as it stands.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion on how to proceed?
Is there a recommendation on how to move forward?
Yes. Recommendation is here. They recommend that we, they recommend to us that the complaint is dismissed because it's a funding of the trust. So we can either make a motion to accept their recommendation or some other motion that you want to make.
So what was the option? Sorry.
Yeah, the option is to accept the recommendation of the committee, the commission, and have a motion to dismiss the complaint because of a finding of no just cause to continue, or any other motion that a council member wants to make.
Well, my motion would be, or is to discredit the findings of the commission based on the information provided, which is that they were not there to define the legitimacy of the actual form itself. So I don't know how to word that, but that would be my motion.
Under the ordinance, section 2-68, item C, after review of the no just cause written recommendation from the Ethics Review Commission, the city council by a majority vote determines if the majority council by, city council by a majority vote determines the existence of just cause, the complaint shall be referred back to the Ethics Review Commission to conduct an investigation and a hearing as set forth below in section 2-618. So
Is that the proposed or is that the current?
that would be based under the current ordinance.
The current? And that would be my motion. That it, based on the current ordinance, that it would be referred back to the commission.
We,
Help me with this one.
I'm gonna help you with this. If you notice the next agenda item.
Right, and that's why I'm saying,
Sure.
because then the next next agenda item is gonna override that.
It,
It's one of the options.
the option would be, considering the fact that we're going to look at amendments to the current ordinance that should bring it into
Right.
the position we want it to be, that we agree with the commission's motion,
Which my motion does not.
which your motion was not, to dismiss it.
It is not.
And then after the amendments, if they pass, come into effect, then we move forward from that point on.
So then under simplicity, then my motion is to dismiss the findings of the commission.
To dismiss the complaint according to the recommendation of the
To
commission,
dismiss the recommendation of,
to reject the recommendation.
okay, then to reject.
No, wait, let me get it straight. What do
The
you want to do?
the commission did not follow proper protocol. They were determining items that were not supposed to be brought to their attention, or under their,
So you want to amend the ordinance and send it back to the commission?
no, we would, the next item we're gonna be amending. The next item we're gonna be amending the ordinance.
Oh, yeah, no.
We have to go based on what the current ordinance,
So based on the
Yeah.
current ordinance,
it will go back.
council by a majority vote has the option of saying that you feel there is just cause behind the complaint based on the ordinance for the commission to hold and hearing and conduct any investigation necessary for them to do so. You have that option. Council can send it back and say, hold a hearing and investigation based on what you have before you. Or you can accept their recommendation to dismiss the current complaint, and then you can review your ordinance and address it accordingly, based on what you feel would be appropriate to remedy whatever defect or deficiency or argument that has been made. If you feel that there is just cause and you want to send it back to them the way it is, you can do that.
Right, so based on current ordinance, then my motion is to reject the findings of the commission to send it back.
For them to conduct a hearing
Yes,
and an investigation.
yes.
Question, Mark.
Yes.
If that happens, and this motion takes place right now before the next agenda item comes up, which ordinance do we send back to the commission? The old one or
It would be based on the current ordinance.
the one that's in effect at this moment?
And then the next item, because we don't know what will happen on the next item on the.
No, I agree.
But you can't change the ordinance in the middle of the complaint and how to apply
Right.
to that complaint. So arguably, it would apply to future. So if you do amend the ordinance and it would apply to complaints going forward, it would not apply to the current.
Considering the fact that the city has probably spent considerable legal fees up to this point, we might want to look at just dismissing this and start over after we handle item H.
And that was my original motion, is to reject the findings of the commission.
So if you have a motion to reject the findings of the commission, send it back under to.
Well, you keep saying it, send it back, but, and that's because that's
That's the next step in the process. If
in
there's just
our
cause
current
found,
ordinance.
they have to hold a hearing.
Right, so then that has to be part of the motion.
Correct, because the complainant and the respondent get an opportunity in that hearing
Right.
to then argue their sides.
Yeah, I want to make sure we do this right, so. If that's what the motion needs to be, then that is my motion, is to reject the commission's finding and have it sent out.
And that would be for you to determine. if
All right,
there's a
do I have a
second.
second on that motion? Do I have a different motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the findings of the commission.
And dismiss the complaint?
And dismiss the.
Let's go back to your motion. We have a motion to disregard, dismiss the finding of the commission and send it back to them for reconsideration. As again, is there a second on that motion?
Question?
I hear no second.
Can I ask a question? The mayor pro temp not have a vote?
He does have a vote. The mayor pro tem was presiding would still.
Is it
would
possible
still
for him to make a motion if he so wanted to? The second?
As the acting chairman, I probably don't have a vote unless to vote at time.
That's the question.
Is it the same?
Did you already review that based on your ordinances and policies?
No, I didn't review it, but traditionally in the council here, the chair, who is the mayor,
The mayor doesn't have a vote
Right.
unless there's a tie.
Right. I'm the
The
mayor
council member
pro
acting
tem.
as a mayor pro tem typically has the ability to vote with the council. Because you're also a council member, but you're presiding officer to run, you're not the mayor. Does
Okay,
that make sense?
okay, yes. So we have this motion. I choose not to second it. Do I have anybody else wanting to second this motion?
Are you talking about?
I'm talking about this one.
Mr. Rodriguez is here.
It's the one to reject their recommendation and send it back to them for reconsideration. If I don't get a second on that, I'll go for another motion, which we've heard the suggestion of.
I'll second
Which one? This one?
it.
I had a made motion. I have.
We're still on my.
I've got your motion and motion.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't make a second, he doesn't make a second, and we don't have a second on that motion, are there other motions on this?
So Mr. Gary's motion did not have a second.
I did ask for something like that. So, Mr. Mayor, would you state your motion, please?
Make a motion to accept the findings of the commission. And to reject the
Dismiss the complaint. Do I have a second on that? Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? All right, let's have a vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Vote.
And we have 2 in favor, 1 against. I vote in favor, and so it's 3-1. Motion to dismiss passes.
So just for the record, Texas Local Government Code 22037B, the mayor pro tem retains power to vote even when presiding over the meeting. The mayor pro tem does not actually become a mayor or assume the duties of the mayor. So
Thank you.
did you-
Thank you very much for the clarification.
I just wanted to know that.
All right, so this item is finished, and I return the chair to the result.
Thank you, council, appreciate that. Okay, Lynette, if you can actually go and show me back. It's 7:33 now. Go ahead and press on, and we will go ahead and take care of H. Discuss and consider the approval of proposal amendments to the ethic ordinance and approval ordinance number 23-13, amending ordinance number 22-06 to clarify the requirement for current council members to file financial disclosures correcting reference in section 2-68C and clarifying publication notice not required by statute of the amendments to be effective immediately or to allow the city council to approve amendments to the ethic ordinance to be submitted to the ethics commission for review and advice to the city council on the same. Molly?
Okay, so you have an option here to address the issues that were brought up in the ethics meeting. The issues being that the ordinance didn't specifically state under 2-65B that current council members are required to file the financial disclosure. The wording change here would be to section B2, that all current appointed or elected officials shall file a sworn financial disclosure as defined in Division D with the secretary, city secretary within 30 days of the effective date of this ordinance and thereafter file it annually by January 30th. So it would require all elected officials appointed or current to now begin filing it every January 30th to renew it because people's property, investments, things like that change. So it should be renewed by January 30th, around that time frame. So this will clear up and add in the word current. And then item B would be section 2-68C, deleted in its entirety and replaced with, if after review of a no just cause written recommendation from the Ethics Review Commission, the City Council by majority vote determines the existence of just cause, then the complaint shall be referred back to the Ethics Commission to conduct an investigation and a hearing as set forth below in section 2-69D. And this would be effective immediately upon its approval by City Council. And City Council would be stating that it's expressly waiving the newspaper publication requirement as provided under Local Government Code, section 52-011C, which gives the option not to publicize ordinances that don't have a financial penalty. So you can still have it published in the light of precaution, but you also can waive that requirement based on the content of this. Some ordinances are required to be published. If there is any type of penalty in that, it would be a fine or some sort of civil remedy that could impact someone's financial. So you have to pay a fine, you lose some sort of standing to be on council. If there was, something of significance, then it usually has to be publicized, especially if it's a traffic ordinance or something, speed limit within the city. Things of that nature need to be published in the newspaper. So the city secretary should then send it, once y'all pass the ordinance, the city secretary should send it for publication to your designated newspaper of record, which would be the Divine News. So you can do that if you want to, but you do not have to. In this situation, that is just clarifying that, because that was one of the arguments made also in the meeting, was that it was not published in the newspaper.
Molly, if you don't mind, just to make sure we understand, would you read back to 265, the proposed amendment that you're making?
So section 265 is actually titled financial disclosure, and you would be amending section B, which currently states new officers, a newly appointed or elected officer shall file a sworn financial disclosure as defined in Division D below with the city secretary within 30 days from the date the position is assumed. You're going to be replacing that statement with the following. B, current and new officers. 1, a newly appointed or elected officer shall file a sworn financial disclosure as defined in Division D below with the city secretary within 30 calendar days from the date the position is assumed. And you're adding 2, all current appointed or elected officials shall file a sworn disclosure as defined in Division D below with the city secretary within 30 calendar days of the effective date of this ordinance and thereafter filed annually by January 30th.
I believe also we have a problem, isn't paragraph C the one that we're referring to, and not paragraph B? Paragraph D is retention of statement. C defines or outlines what goes in financial disclosure.
Okay, so you're saying to change the Division D below. Retention of statements, contents of statements. Let's keep on. Yes, it should actually state in Division, you could actually say in Division C, form of disclosure.
because it says they're going to file a sworn financial disclosure, and then C gives 2 points as to what these financial disclosures include. I believe it's just a typo there, it should be C.
I believe it actually should be E, which is the form of the disclosure. You could cover it all by putting in division C, D, and E below. So there is no question that you're talking about the contents, how long the statements have to be retained, and the form to be used. Because C is talking about the contents the financial disclosure shall include, but E is actually saying these are the forms that will be used, which is the election code 254, local government code section 176, provided by the city secretary to anyone requesting it. So probably would be easier just to say divisions C, D, and E below.
Sounds good.
That would be my recommendation, just to make sure we're covering all bases and nobody has a question as to what's supposed to be in it.
Thank you.
In both spots, so, under 1 and 2.
And to further help those of us who are older and slow of mind, would you go over the second one that you talked about?
Yes, sir.
68, I believe.
So section B, is section 2-68C is deleted in its entirety, which actually was the one that we were discussing, as part of Mr. Rodriguez's motion, that currently states, if you have your ordinance in front of you, it's page 14. So it's section 2-68, review of complaint. Section C currently says, after review of a no just cause written recommendation from the Ethics Review Commission, the City Council by majority vote determines the existence of just cause. The complaint shall be referred back to the Ethics Commission to conduct an investigation and a hearing as set forth in section 2-68D. And this is saying that we are changing it to, if after review of a no just cause written recommendation from the Ethics Review Commission, the City Council by majority vote determines the existence of just cause, then the complaint shall be referred back to the Ethics Review Commission to conduct an investigation and the hearing is set forth by 269D. So 269D I think it should just say just 269, because 269 is the investigation and hearing of a complaint. So it needs to actually not have a D there. It would need to have a C. So the discrepancy is between the C and the D. Yeah, the investigation and hearing is a proceeding under section 2-69. This specifically refers to 268D. Okay, so to correct the misdirection, the current ordinance has a reference to 268D. It should reference 269.
That whole section on this.
Right, it shouldn't say D actually at all, because it should reference the whole section. So what needs to be stricken would be the letter and the the number would be corrected to 2-69. Right. Because D actually says the commission is not bound by the rules of evidence. So that would make no sense to write the mistake. So we're fixing it to state that the proceedings will be conducted below in section 269, which is the section on investigation and hearing of a complaint. A through A through I would then be applied to the investigation and hearing of the complaint. The whole section applies to that process.
So referring back to my previous motion, the way this item is written, the section that says correcting reference to section 2-68C,
Yes.
that should be worded as removing reference, or removing section 2-68C.
Well, no, it's deleting it and replacing it with.
No, but if I don't want that clause in there, and my motion is to remove that, so it's not gonna be allowed to be sent back for review.
So you want to remove item C altogether? from
Right, so
the-
it doesn't, in other words, it does not go back to the commission.
Okay,
And
and,
we're talking in reference of the financial statement only.
right, this section is just the
Right.
financial statement.
So what I'm saying is I'm not accepting the modification as written, and I'm also not accepting the previous current one.
Okay, so you're proposing to remove 2-68C altogether.
Right.
So,
So if I was to make a motion, I would change that to removing section 2-68C.
But what do we do if the commission comes back with a recommendation that goes on?
Well, the thing is that this ordinance is saying that all newly and current sitting officials have to fill out the financial report. But then we're giving an option to have this reviewed. That doesn't make sense.
well, not as to the content, not as to, but you have to think of what is the process if the complaint has an error in it? And so they see the error, that there's error in the complaint, it's missing one component of what it's supposed to have. So you look at the part in the ordinance that the complaint has to contain these contents, right? And there's something missing, sworn signature. Okay, so they can't find just cause. They have to come to you and tell you can't find just cause. There's no just cause based on the contents of this complaint. We're not saying in the future it's based on the ordinance. They're saying it's based on the contents of that complaint. If you don't have the ability to send it back to them and say, you know, go ahead and do
Isn't
a
the
hearing
purpose of this whole ordinance
investigation.
to have that form filled out?
Well, can I jump in here
Well,
and
not
clarify?
just that. I mean, it's actually for many other things. That's
So
all.
if you
We've
complain
experienced.
about something that's within the form, then the form needs to be revised. And that can be brought before the council. to
Can I
revise.
jump in here if you don't mind? I think you're putting two things together that shouldn't be together. 2-65 deals with the financial disclosure.
Yes,
2-68 deals with any ethics violation
No.
that's found for any cause, right?
no, that's only for the financial disclosure.
265 is the financial disclosure, and
Only.
then the process of 265 to be investigated is 268. But 268 would investigate other things too. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
No,
To
but that was my
clarify
original
that,
question,
yes.
because the ordinance
Yes,
that we're looking at is for the financial statement.
Not just for the financial.
well, this
According to the
specific,
title,
the prior item was only as to financial disclosure. Now you're looking at the totality of your ordinance as applied to all things that are required to be filed under here. So then when you get to 268, that's the process of the meeting, the just cause, no just cause investigation. So their initial process is that what we're amending, that it comes to you and you say, we see just cause, go back and have a hearing and investigate it. And they're telling you, we don't think we have it. You tell them, yes, you do. Do the hearing and investigate it. So that's what that provision is trying to get across clearly, is that they need to take it back. And council's directing by a majority vote for them to continue on with the process based on the complaint that's filed at the time.
It just seems contradicting that you have an ordinance that's requiring everybody to fill out a financial statement, but then you have a clause in there that allows it to be reviewed, sent back, essentially not filling it out.
Well, if you make the amendment to A, then it should be filled out by everyone,
Right,
whether they're current or future.
Right.
That's what it's clarifying is, everybody fills it out, current and future.
Then 30 days of the signing of the ordinance after we
Right.
make amendments.
right,
So 265 is your financial disclosure section.
correct.
Now, set that aside and look at the process that the commission uses to review all complaints under any part of this ordinance. That is what you're deciding under 268. Do you, as a council, want to have the ability, as a checks and balances, to say, I don't agree with your no just cause. We say there's just cause, you take it back and hold the hearing. I think that if you take that out, you're taking council's checks and balance away. You can't send it back.
It seems to me by taking that out, you don't have an option to go before the ethics committee to refuse to fill it out. And correct me if I got this all wrong, tell me.
So,
The idea is that this financial report needs to get filled out, and it needs to go forward that way.
right,
But if you have an avenue that allows you to go before the ethics committee and complain and not want to fill out this form, that gives you the ability to do that. So, I mean, it kind of overrides the previous section.
well, so the 265 amendment that's being proposed
Right,
would clarify that everybody has to fill
and
it
that's
out,
understood.
current and future, right?
Right,
So then 30 days from the effective date, it would need to be filed. Everybody that hasn't done one will need to file the financial disclosure, or else a complaint could be made. They're not in compliance with 265.
and then that goes to
And then that's,
268.
that goes to 268. And we need the 268 to set out the guidelines for the commission and then council to evaluate their recommendation back to you. So if you don't have a checks and balance when it gets back here to tell them, go ahead and do the hearing and investigation, we feel like what you're hung up on doesn't negate just cause, continue on, you won't have that option.
It just seems like we're back in the same place that we are now.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion
It
on this.
actually, it will only be that way if 30 days after this amendment, if this amendment passes, if you consider it and you add in the word current and you can makes it clear, and 30 days after, if everybody that's supposed to file their financial disclosure on boards, commissions, council doesn't do so, then yes, we would be back in the process.
If a complaint is filed.
If a complaint is filed and found to meet a claim and follow the process of the ordinance in 268.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. I move that we adopt the proposed amendments along with the changes that we discussed here, minor changes that we discussed, to the ethics ordinance, and approve the ordinance number 23-13, amending ordinance number 2206, to clarify the requirement for current city council members to file financial disclosures, correcting reference in section 2-68C, and clarifying publication notice not required by statute with amendment to be effective immediately or to full stop.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Motion doesn't carry forward.
Molly, can you explain to me the difference between, 2668C, the original and the newly revised one?
Yes, so 268C, the current, references the wrong subsection. It references back to the next one down. It is a typo. It shouldn't have been, so you have 2-68, you have A, B, and when you go to C, at the last sentence of C, or I'm sorry, the last part of C, it says set forth below in section 268D. Okay, so that's just the next one down. It's referencing if just cause is found, an affirmative vote of the majority of commission members. So it's referencing the wrong one.
Okay.
It should be section 269. But it shouldn't have the D on there either, because reference to 269 would be under D, the commission is not bound by the rules of evidence. It should be 2-69C during the official convened meeting. But what my recommendation would be is just to reference the section on investigations and hearings of the complaint. Then that entire section applies. When you send it back, you're telling the commission, use that section, conduct your investigation and your hearing, and then send it back to us.
That's
So,
what my motion is.
So, Mayor, I'm gonna second the motion under the understanding that it needs to be clarified that current and future officials have to fill this out, and I think we need that in there, which was the confusion the commission had prior to this. So with that stated, I'll go ahead and second that motion. By David.
So going back to make the motion, I got a second to go ahead and do this. Now it's open for discussion. I will tell you, this is important that we actually go ahead and have the council informed of the financial disclosures. Every one of you has done it. And your predecessors, previous council has done it. Everybody has done it. And one of the things that we all talked about in here is about transparency, because we make decisions in here, and it's important for us to have our financial disclosures in place. And even to include our committee that actually met, already filed their financial disclosure. So it's important for us to go ahead and have it in place in order for us to go ahead and make some important decisions whenever we're reviewing the different things. And it's nothing that we haven't asked and nothing that you all have not complied with already.
Yeah, I have two questions for you, man. And a statement on this ordinance, because I have no issues with the financial disclosure form. I'll get that out of the way first. I have an issue with the way that we went about doing this. Simple as that. I was deployed last year whenever this matter originally came up, and the motion made in August of 2022 by Alderman Emery was to get with the Ethics Commission and to get their help and to craft this. And as we've sat here tonight for 20 minutes just looking over 2 pages of amendments, that's an 18-page document with errors throughout it. The words, they matter. And that is what I challenge to the commission. The questions I have for you, Molly, just to clarify this, get it on the record, yes or no, can we approve an ordinance that is not authorized by state law?
you're a type A general law city, so you can approve an ordinance that does not conflict with state law or has a specific state law against such. So this would be a policy ordinance that is affecting council members and elected officials, that is within the authority of council to pass. Unless there is a state statute that shows that you have, that a type A general law city cannot pass an an ethics ordinance, I would ask you to bring it forward.
My second question is, can we waive the requirements of publication required by Texas Local Government Code 52.011?
Yes, under 52011C, an ordinance required to be published by this section takes effect when the publication requirement is satisfied, unless the ordinance provides otherwise. An ordinance that is not required to be published under this section takes effect when adopted unless the ordinance provides otherwise. So if council chooses to not publish it and states it in there, the city is expressly waiving the newspaper publication requirement, then you do not have to publish it.
You're telling me that we can waive, that the type A general law city has the authority to waive a requirement in the state law?
To waive it as to certain ordinances, yes. It depends on the penalty being imposed. If council would like to publish it, you can certainly do so. You have plenty of time. If it's a 30-day window, once the ordinance is passed, you can certainly publish the caption in the Divine News within that 30 days. But you do also have the authority to state in there that you're specifically waiving the publication because this ordinance is applying to elected officials and not the general public.
And there's no financial loss.
There's no financial impact.
That's not what the law says. Alderman Emery, I would ask that you amend it and publish this to cover our bases when it's an ordinance so it goes into effect properly. Alter the modification on it, because we don't have that authority. That's against the law. Regardless what legal's telling you right now, it's against the law.
Hold on, Charles. Are
You
you,
know, hey,
are you with the state bar? Are you actually?
You know what, I spoke to Tim the other day and they said we don't have that authority.
So we have somebody who actually
Like to know
has been
this.
fully licensed attorney and is our advice to our city council.
Okay, that's great. That's why I asked you those questions, so we can address that later. I'm asking Alderman Emery to amend his motion so that we protect ourselves in the city.
So I would also have an additional question. Number one, who did you speak with at TML, so I can contact them and find out what they're relying on to say that? And number two, when this was passed in May, if there are errors throughout, why was that not pointed out by you at that time? Because you have a duty as a city council person to make sure that the city passes something that is the best version, the most perfect version, the legal version. And if you notice these deficiencies then, why did you not point them out then or sooner?
Because, I'll answer that, because the agenda item as it was worded in May, it was not to do the amendment. You can go back and look at the tape yourself, and I highly recommend that you do as well as August 22nd, 2022.
So Charles, I gotta ask, so when the complaint was filed, why didn't you bring all this forward?
Bring what forward?
You're saying that there's problems with this, and you're questioning the actual wording on, why didn't you come to our city administrator and say, hey, we need to address this?
I did, you know, rather than you just come and talk to me and say, hey, Charles, we got this financial disclosure form. Not once did you ever, when I returned from that deployment, say, Charles, we passed this while you were gone.
We did. We even mentioned it in here. You can listen to the recordings. There
I,
was
you know,
plenty
I
of
can't,
times that
but
I asked you.
you did
that
not,
we
you
needed
never
20
asked me, you never said, Charles, you didn't,
I
he
don't-
said we have two people listeners,
No,
and then one person.
No.
Yeah, we can go back and all watch it, but that doesn't matter. I'm asking you to amend your
No,
motion.
I
and if
will
you
not
don't-
amend it,
Okay,
and
then great.
I'll ask if you can give us a reason why you want to delay this.
I'm not trying to delay it. I'm asking that we comply with the law.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and continue
So-
on.
He's gonna request to amend his motion, to publicize it. You have the 30-day period before it becomes effective anyway. If you want to publish it, you can do so. If the city wants to waive that, the city has the authority to do so. So that's up to you if you want to amend it, and then it would say becomes effective upon publication. That's up to you.
I don't wish to amend, I want my motion to stand as.
You could
Yeah, I'll do it with the original.
with the original, okay. Okay, any other further discussion? Okay, all those in favor,
Aye.
can you please? Okay. All those against?
I vote no, because it violates the state law on the publication requirements.
Everybody else vote.
Yes.
22. Okay, council, thank you so much for your help, appreciate that. We'll go ahead and move on and go ahead and take care of that requirement. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to I, discussion and possible action concerning the city's vital water wells. Charles? Yeah, I think Rob is here, and after we talked about well 2 earlier, I think it would be a good idea to discuss all the wells that we have in the city. What's the status on them? What are our options moving forward, The first question I had was about well 1. Has that been converted to a monitoring well yet?
That was,
I can speak to that one. We're still waiting on the Edwards. They've done everything they can and it's timing on them. They came out, they pulled some, I heard some sludge. They've done everything they can. Casey was good. They pulled sludge out of it. They're waiting on timing to put their monitoring equipment on. So the ball's back into their court.
We're waiting on Edwards on well 1.
Yeah.
Well 2, has Edwards or TCEQ been informed of the issues with well number 2?
no, sir.
Well 3, when was the last time well 3 was distributing water through our distribution system?
I can't answer that one.
That's a very long time ago. When the council, I guess, best I can recall, the council spent before they drilled the new well,
Yeah, we spent-
$250,000 trying to get that well working, and it never came back to life, and we finally abandoned it.
And
What I gather, they're trying to-
if I remember correctly, the total was $1.2 million spent on well number 3 and never came through. That was the well that we were getting a lot of complaints of the smell of the water that was coming through. They tried to go in there and try to fix it. They couldn't get any of the smell out there. And the background is our previous mayor asked me to go talk to the railroad commission, find some old maps, and that's when we determined that where it was drilled, it was not drilled in the most appropriate place. It was at the edge of the Edwards Hopper Garden. So we've given up on well 3.
Yes.
I think that was the council's decision to not move forward with that one for drinking water. So
We just don't know how long ago that was.
we could go back and, I guess, review minutes. I don't know. I just remember being at the meeting when it was done. It was, TRC was our consultant, and I can't remember the kid's name that was doing it. He's the one that designed the piece.
It was early 2000s.
Yeah, it was before Jeff Dom, so it's been a while.
Okay. So since well 2 has been down since last year, how have we been able to effectively perform any required maintenance or servicing on well 4?
So as far as the lubrication goes,
I mean, I don't know. I'm leaving it up to the subject matter experts. But I imagine that there's some sort of maintenance or upkeep that needs to be,
yeah, on the upkeep, it's just a lubricated motor. It's not a well lubricated.
and it doesn't have to be taken offline at any point.
No. It's a little 1 gallon container that sits on top of it, and that's just a drip system.
He uses vegetable.
Yeah.
oil.
If I could make sure we correct, that well does not run 24 hours a day.
No.
It runs for just a couple, 2-3 hours a day to fill the tank, and then it's offline for a while for any maintenance or anything they need to do to it.
So, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, but in your years of working, what would your recommendation be? How many wells should we have going?
2.
2 wells.
2.
That's,
That would be the minimum in case one goes down and you have time to work on it.
yeah, and even with, the issues that we've been having with 2, I mean, there's no guarantee that we're gonna have
No, sir.
that well back anytime soon. I mean, maybe it's not repairable, maybe it's not cost effective, I guess is my question. So what I would like the council to discuss and look into is, because we got a good well site for 4, right?
Yes.
We got room for additional wells out there,
Yes.
good clean water. The possibility of starting the planning on well number 5. Because the city continues to grow, and we know how long it takes. I think well 4 took 5 years
Yeah, it took a while.
to get financed and built. And I think in 5 years, running on 1 or even 2 wells, because what if one of those goes out, right? So that's my thought process on it. So I don't know, how anybody else feels about it, but I feel like water is important. So I think working towards getting another well number 5 is something where it needs to be, excuse me, talked about in the preliminary phases. That's today, that's here in October 2020, excuse me, November 2023. So, 1 well though.
Yeah,
That's
we're
what we got right
not-
now. We need at least
Probably
two.
two from them, yes, in case one goes down the other factory.
That's all I got right now, so.
I appreciate that. I do want, Robbie, the whole council, the same way too. I mean, every one of us feels the same way, and just keep doing what you're actually doing. I think we have the capacity and the things that we need to do. It's unfortunately that well was actually left neglected, and now we're trying to bring it back up, but I think we're in the right path to go ahead and take care of that. 20 years of running on one well, on that one well that we had, I didn't sleep. I sleep well right now. I know that we need to go ahead and get that other well, but I know that you guys are taking care of that one well and it gives us more than enough capacity and what we actually need. So, let's take care of that and make sure that we're in the next step. And we're here to assist you with anything that you need, okay?
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
One comment there, I think well 5 is a good suggestion. As soon as we exhaust all avenues on well 2 and we find out that it's maybe economically not possible to move forward on well 2, we definitely, as a council, need to.
Yes, sir. Definitely. We'll take a look at it and try to see what we can do. So,
Yeah, I mean, I know that well 4 turned out better than it was anticipated to produce, but with the growth coming out here, the longer we wait, you know, the longer we roll the dice, the greater the risk for the residents who live in the area. So it needs to be something that's always on the forefront of our minds to get it fixed. I'm looking for what the recommendation was. But I want to say that they were recommending we start working on another well in 2025 previously. That was the engineer's report.
any actions or anything on that then? No? Anything else? No?
Well, I think we were supposed to be hiring a new city administrator. I thought we'd get him on board first.
Okay, so we can go ahead and, make a motion for no action on that one?
Make a motion, we take no action on item I, 7.
Got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. J, discussion and possible action on lowering the speed limit on city streets in the city of Lima. Charles?
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of complaints. I think that, Chief, do you have those figures from the speeding somewhere?
Yeah, I put stuff together. Well, I mean, it's just some information on Railroad Street, for example. Not past 20. It's just Charles had asked for October 4th, November 11th on Railroad Street, get an idea what's going on out there. I didn't come up with this form, Danny did, now he's out sick, so I can't answer a lot of questions. All we came up with was, and I'm not sure what this plays in the agenda item, I don't even know. But that just gives you an idea of about that just gives you an idea of about October 4th, November 11th, give you an idea of citations just on Railroad Street. That's really not a full court press. That's one officer sitting out there a few hours a day.
Richie, do you have anything on other streets? Since the agenda is talking about other streets, not railroad?
No, sir, this is not my agenda item, and I don't have anything about this at all.
And Railroad Street, how many stop signs does it have?
One?
I think it's just,
Two? Three? Three?
so.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
I just want to make sure, we got to look at the data, but at the same time, this data doesn't reflect everything in the streets. This is one long road that is on there. It's good to look at it, but we're looking at the streets, so it would be good to have data that includes all the streets.
Okay, to clarify to council, this is not my agenda item, and I just got some numbers quickly together for one of the aldermen, which is, y'all are the people I work for, and that's all I'm doing, so I don't even know where this is going.
Appreciate it, Richie.
Okay, so I'm gonna sit down, if you need something, ask me.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Richie.
Yeah, I mean, where it's going is pretty obvious, to illustrate the point that people are speeding on Railroad Street, right? You got first column, 81 miles an hour. and you had one of your officers have to go pursue somebody out of town, right?
I mean, I can do. No, I said I was gonna say.
Okay, once again, so I mean, let's look at the agenda item. Is
Yeah, we're
speed
talking
limit
about all
on city
streets,
streets,
all
city
streets,
streets.
city streets, Railroad Street is a city street. And I bring it up because multiple people have come to me talking about excessive speed, not just on Railroad Street, but around the city. You know, 3 meetings ago, we had a woman coming in, a resident, talking about how people were speeding there. And I think that lowering the speed limit around the city has been effective, right? It's not only made the city safer, but at the same time, it reduces the risk of, if there's an accident, of any serious injuries. So that's why I'm bringing this before the council. I feel like we've had a successful run at lowering the speed. Would you agree, Mayor?
I think in the areas that we made an adjustment, it's actually did help.
And the volume, would you agree that the volume of street traffic is gonna increase in the coming years?
Certain streets, I will agree.
So the action that I would like council to do tonight is to consider lowering the speed limit to what we are allowed to by law, which is 25 miles per hour.
You're talking about blackening the whole city,
All the city streets.
which are currently 30?
Well, some,
No, there's some 35s and others.
some 35, some 40s. There may even be a
So,
45.
I'm correct. We're not talking about state roads.
Yeah.
We're only
not
talking about the city streets, and currently we've got some that are at 25, some that are at 30,
Some 35.
some 30. So
some
this
40.
would give us the ability to have one set speed limit across the entire city, which will do two things. One, like Charles said, reduce the speeds for accidents, but it would help residents and people visiting here know what our speed limit is. In the entire city, it's 25 miles an hour. It makes it even easier on an officer.
That's part of our problems, whether this is what's on the agenda or not, is it's confusing for even a policeman out there. We've still got some streets that are supposed to have signs on them. I don't have signs on yet. A year or two after we passed the ordinance. So, I do get a lot of feedback that, you know, one street's 25, one's 30, you know, I go, well, I mean, I don't make up the laws, you know. But, yeah, I can understand what Matt's saying is it would make it simpler for the police, it would make it simpler for the public. But beyond that, I don't know what implications it has. You know,
David's here. David, you know, what's your take on it, David?
I think it'd be for the best. I mean, if you really look at it, people are gonna drive 5 to 6 mile an hour over the speed limit anywhere anyway. So, I mean, if you keep the speed limit at 30, 35 miles an hour, some streets I'll be going 40 miles an hour. And if you drive by a resident with roll your windows down, drive by a resident during the day. If you look to your right, look to your left, at 40, 35 miles an hour, you're gonna see that it's probably too fast for that road. I mean, I could say, we've been monitoring, Magnolia Street. We've had our trailer out there, we've had some issues with that, so, but if you drive down Magnolia Street at 35 miles an hour, it looks really fast. I mean, even for me, even for us in those big SUVs, it seems fast.
Well, like Lopez was saying, Chief and I, went on Friday, and that's something that we had already planned, that we were gonna go along that area of Magnolia Street. And on that one street going all the way to Magnolia, and what's the other one?
the one, Benton,
Yeah,
Or the one you-
how's that?
yeah, Benton.
Benton. So we had talked to maybe 8 people.
Yes, problem.
About 8 people went door to door. And everything, I mean, we've got a lot of positive feedback. And everybody was good about the speed limit, not the speed limit, putting up the signs to slow down the traffic in between where there's only one yield sign on it, all the way from the beginning of Magnolia Street. So we didn't have anybody that was mad or angry about it, but we did have about 3 of them that were, that suggested that we put road bumps. So
Speed humps, yeah.
Speed humps. I don't like speed humps, but if that's gonna be a big deal to prevent me speeding, do it.
And it's, I think it's important too to understand, the majority of our traffic are not residents of the city, period. It's just like if, HEB does not exist because we have 2,900 people that live here that support it. I mean, it wouldn't be the last of the day. So the residents see all this increased traffic. On the enforcement side, yeah, we've got some spotches, 25 and 30 and 35. And, if it was all the same, it'd make it simpler. But again, I haven't done any kind of survey or reached out to anyone about that. I mean, I wasn't aware of exactly where this agenda item was going.
Well, have you seen anything with any of the other cities that they do a public hearing or anything like that when they're changing the speed limit across the board or anything?
Yeah, typically you have a little bit more notice to the citizens that this is being discussed and have a hearing. You don't have to, I mean, if you take action to start that process tonight or include that, you should obviously do that. And I would do a publication so you can notify them of the speed limit change because it does affect them. There would be a penalty. You're reducing it, you're not increasing it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna affect the entire city and we should give them the option to have a hearing and discuss it.
And I think all of our new subdivisions are 25, and I don't know where that decision, when we came up with that decision, but I mean, that was something they decided to do. So all the new subdivisions are 25 or will be 25.
When you look at the subdivision, they're limited space.
Oh, yeah.
You're not gonna be able, I mean, you could
Shouldn't
speed up,
Shouldn't, yes,
but
sir. Shouldn't.
yeah, you're gonna be noticed.
And I think that the area that Chief and I were going to, like everybody was positive on it. And I think to start somewhere, I think putting up those signs would help a lot.
For that particular area,
Yeah, for that
that's
area.
gonna help probably more than the speed would in that particular area.
Especially with that tree in the middle of the road.
So Charles, do you want to make a motion, maybe have a public hearing so we get a chance to give our residents an opportunity?
I will make a motion there that we hold a public hearing for lowering the speed limits on city streets throughout the city of Lidle, as well as publish it in the city newspaper to inform the public of what actions we're proposing to take.
Okay, got a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Do we have a date for that?
We'll go ahead and,
You can put it on next.
And the next council meeting is what I would say.
I'll amend my motion to hold this public hearing for the next council meeting.
So your meeting would be here at Chamber?
Yeah.
that'd be right before.
And we can push that out, Ma'am?
December 11th,
No, the
No.
27th.
oh, the 27th.
And then when we finish the next one,
That may be on the agenda too, right?
yeah, should go to lunch.
We'll put it on that one. We'll do that one. Okay, got a motion for us to go ahead and actually hold a public hearing, publish in the newspaper and get it set for the 27th of November, right before our regular meeting.
I did the second.
I'll
I
second.
did.
Miguel seconded it. You're amending to include the date?
I'll second the amendment.
Okay, with the date, thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes, so to be better, to educate our citizens better, we need to define what we currently have. Whether it be a map or by district, we need to see what we currently have as far as speed limits. If we're gonna blanket this whole city with a single speed limit like 25, there may be justification that some people in certain areas warrant a 30 or 35 mile an hour speed. I mean, I would love to see Main Street go back to 35. Right now it's 45. It
We
used to
can-
be lower than that, but
Yeah, we can't
you
control
can't do that.
Main
But then what I'm getting at is that if you look at other areas within the city, it may be justified to have a higher speed limit.
I think most of the other roads that are city roads are all pretty much residential. We don't
Yeah,
really
we
have
really-
anything.
So that we
To
need to show what area is gonna be affected. Just saying that the city of Lidle is gonna become 25 miles an hour, I don't think that's good enough. We need to show what the city of Lidle is, the area that's gonna be affected by
So
it.
all you would have to do is take a map with the city streets and highlight all the ones that are
Can you do
currently
that?
not.
Can you do that for the public meeting?
I don't have the map, they've got maps somewhere.
We don't have maps, but I will work on something.
We can come up with something in between us, I mean.
TxDOT has a map of state-owned roads, so.
No, I'm not worried about the state. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
I'm just talking about.
I can take a city
Well,
map
Through the
and highlight
process of
roads.
elimination, you look at the state-owned and the city streets. Be able to do that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Should be simple, huh?
anything else? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Opposed. All right, we had a good discussion, it is 8:25, let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break.
I've already been looking at them sandwiches back there, 8 o'clock. You just kept on going, I don't know.
That's why you wanted to sit down.
I'm hungry.
Not
harming with them.
And let's get together and get a plan and you can get involved.
I'm gonna talk to Josh, they're gonna-
And she would love it.
Alright.
It's just her and I, and then she's gonna.
Alright.
See what I can do.
And the next you can actually show us back is back at 8:38. We'll go ahead and move on and go to item K. Go to item K, and this is update on the Texas Department of Transportation Alternative Grant award of sidewalks for FM 2790 McDonald Street.
So council, I need to correct a email I sent out to y'all. The mayor and I, we all had a big meeting here with some TxDOT representatives one day, like, hey, y'all got your sidewalk grant for Main Street, you know, let us know. So when I sent the email out that we got the streets, we had two, the ones for Main Street and the ones for 2790 McDonald Street. But when we finally got the official wording from TxDOT, it was actually the sidewalk for McDonald Street that we got awarded. So, well, we'll be getting the 6-foot wide sidewalks on McDonald Street that run from City Hall right here at Main Street, both sides of the road, all the way up to 35. It'll stop at 35. We'll jump onto the other side of 35 and they'll pick up again there and run down to the, I don't think it covers all of the new subdivisions, but I think half of it. I sent you a spreadsheet, kind of a general thing of what they're doing. Again, this is at no cost to the city currently because we can use transportation credits for that. But let's say we've got 4.2 million, I think is what they got budgeted for this. If it goes over, we'd be responsible for 100% of the overages. I can tell you the current sidewalk project that just got bid on the other one, it was bid at, I think they had it set at like 1.5, right, Charles? I think something like that.
Close to that,
And
yeah.
when they just bid it currently, it came in at like 1.2, 1.3. It's good because it potentially we could get some money back on what we paid as our portion in, as long as we don't have any overages. So they'll wait till that gets done. If there's no overages, hopefully we get some money back there. Hopefully there's not any overages, and we'll be responsible. But I just wanted to clear up the email I sent you on that.
Provide an update just because it was awarded.
So in that drawing, the section underneath 35, that's not a,
We took that out at the direction of TxDOT.
so how are
because-
they gonna get underneath that bridge?
Our very thing. The first process had for, I think, bridges and everything, under all kinds of work. But TxDOT told us, you can submit this, but I can tell you right now with 100% confidence, it'll be rejected because it's not shovel ready. Meaning, they would have to come in and do bridges and would never get that. So that's why we took that out.
So let's go with what they're giving us first.
Yes, sir. We go with what they're giving us and then we actually have a meeting, we're gonna keep pushing that out. Now you gave us sidewalks. How do we get people across?
Yeah.
It's like that ball back in there, when you're redoing all this 35, I know it's a big ask, but redesign this bridge.
Once we get turnarounds and we add on that, actually help out.
Well, I mean, that will make it easier in the future for any applications that pedestrian bridges or
Yes,
something like that.
Yes.
Because
Put
it
the title.
connects to the existing project.
Yes.
So, good job, Matt.
All right. Okay, just a reminder on that one. I know that Matt sends out emails to us and just lets us know. What I asked the council, that's for us to know. Please wait until we get the official notification so we get the corrected or get the right thing on there. And the only other thing I asked the council is, if a project involves a district that doesn't belong to you, please coordinate with the other aldermen first before you actually start putting stuff out. I think it's important that we give an opportunity for the aldermen if their project is in their district. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 8, department reports, and we'll go ahead and have Santi.
Click or you're gonna?
Let's look at that PDF, you know, slide.
No transfers? No? Do we have some in mind?
Yeah, still working on this. Had 91 calls for service, said I want traffic.
17 transfers, no. I know transfers, just typo. 9 intake, 12, they had 12 adoptions, and right now that count is 39 and 9 dogs.
Okay.
So, and so far, our yearly, we had 62 adoptions so far from January to now, and 128 transfers to rescue. We had 11 volunteers for 69 hours. 58 pet owners helping food. It's a little lower because of the way the weather was. So most 15 from Lidl. That's good. And that's it. Okay.
So Santi, we're still above where we need to be with the animals. So
Yeah, I know.
we need to partner up with some other agencies or something, because we've been talking about this for a while, right?
Definitely.
So we need to figure out some way to partner with other agencies so we can bring it down into the 20s, get it a little bit more manageable for you and the folks down there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm trying. Humane Society is not taking anything big, so I just want something under 20 pounds. So it's hard. Most of the dogs are above that weight. But we're trying to reach out to CC Pal and God's Dog, see if they can help us. It snips,
How many current organizations do we team with?
we have 4 Humane Society, Snips, CC Pal.
Have we had any dealings within the last year?
No.
Have we reached out?
Yeah, we reached out and no one's gotten back.
I think we
Let's
continue reaching
let's
out.
work on that.
Yeah, we do, but it's like they're like every else are full. They don't.
It's just, even if it's 1 or 2, little by little, being able to use some of these agencies to kind of help about. The one in Casio, it is the name, Petunia's Rescue. So I know you guys help out with, or they help you out too with that, right? So, and they're connected to California or the West Coast?
Yeah, West Coast.
Yeah, so.
So we're still waiting on, like a transport out that way, for them to take dogs from our facility.
Let's go ahead and work with Matt, let's try to figure out, see if we can get some additional assistance. If we need to call some other agencies, just call them.
Our numbers are getting so high that we're gonna have to stop taking surrenders and everything. I mean,
Yeah, right now, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stop taking surrenders in and stop picking up dogs.
I mean,
There's been a lot of dumps in the city.
here's our reality. At some point, we're either gonna be overrun with animals at the animal shelter if we don't make decisions and tough decisions there, or we're gonna be overrun with stray dogs running the streets getting into our traffic. It's what do we want? So we gotta start making some tough decisions, and those numbers have been up the entire time I've been in office, and we've talked about it, and we've made no progress.
Is there any way we could just
Oh,
add
we
a
made
little,
progress, but just people keep dumping animals.
add
in
a
the
little
city.
bit more room to it to,
Like to expand it? I don't know.
I mean, we own everything around it, right?
We own a lot of that, but that's not high on the city's priority list in other infrastructure and things we need to do, unfortunately. The shelter we have, the number of animal control officers we have is adequate for the city size we have. Matter of fact, we're actually more than most cities our size.
I really think we need more space there.
Yeah, definitely. It's been 13 years and that place we just outgrown it. So
That's a good idea, but that's
Especially
additional
if we own
cost.
the land already.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be that expensive to add, either more kennels, with a top over it, maybe a heated, little area in there.
We'll put it on the list for the next
I mean,
review.
just to see what it costs,
But,
the least, way of doing it.
yeah, that'll be part of the review. We work on the priorities that we actually have right now, so work on that. So in the meantime, we just need to try to help out. Okay.
right now when I was talking to Linda and everybody was telling her we're not gonna take any surrenders or pick up any stray animals and let them wander around.
Well,
and
you
that's
know,
causing
I'm
trouble.
telling you this as a citizen here who pays taxes. I don't think not picking up stray animals is acceptable when I've got a wife and small children that run and walk all over town. I mean, if the animal control's not gonna pick up stray dogs that are chasing and, I mean, what
what exactly is the purpose? I mean, and I,
I've
and
never
my life,
heard of any dogs chasing people or anything like that.
you have never heard of any dogs chasing people?
No, they get dumped at the park, dumped at HB. I haven't seen anybody getting bit unless it's a animal owned by somebody that
So-
attacks
So
somebody.
if my wife and them are walking, she's never had a stray dog approach them and come after them.
Not that I know of.
Well, I'm sorry, but I strongly disagree.
Okay, you can, but that's
And I
not.
think my
Let's get
records
together and
indicate
let's
that.
figure out agencies to help us out, okay?
Yes, sir.
So we can kind of keep the flow going and bring the numbers down.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
you're saying that if a citizen calls in and
We'll,
there's a
we'll go
stray-
check it out, yeah, but like if I don't have a room, y'all telling me I gotta control the numbers and I can't be picking up animals, what do
The
you want me to
direction
do?
is not there yet for that, okay? Santi, let's work on agencies, let's go ahead and try. to
Yeah,
figure
we've been, I'm trying my best.
that out. So,
I don't want to hear someone complaining to me that they have a stray dog and it's constantly bothering them.
No, I
We're
take care
not
of the
doing
issue,
anything about
no, I take care of the issue with them real quick as soon as possible.
Thank you.
thank you, sir. All right, let's go ahead and take, Sandra, here we go, library.
Your usage is a little low, 84 in the fixed versus 93. Circulation stats, there's 1,602. It's still been going high, had more people coming in. Stats for September that I didn't get were 46 users and 50 checkouts. I'm sorry, no, 29 checkouts and then 50 users and 37 checkouts. So it's going up slowly. And then we had 10 new library cards, accounts, and then 30 renewals, and then April we had 8 library cards. And we still have story time. We've had, one day we had, I think, 19 kids for story time.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my, okay, and so it actually was really nice, and then after that, it was 17, and it's kind of fluctuated back and forth, so it's nice. I don't know how many we'll have on Wednesday. We're finally finished with the adult nonfiction. We just have the caregiver resource center and the reference room, and we'll be done. The whole library. We're still offering for because we still have a few ladies, there's actually a couple of them still prefer that, they don't want to come to the building, they just order their books and we go take them out. And then we do the monthly displays, if it's a Halloween, and then the band books, and then I think breast cancer awareness, and I think it's ADHD, yeah. And then those are covered. And I don't know if this has, do you have the pictures on it? Okay, it had pictures of the pumpkins,
Yeah, how did that go?
it went really well. We had 4 pumpkins. I was really worried that we weren't gonna have any, and then everybody started bringing them in today, and so, they're gonna come this week to get their prize.
Oh, good.
So it was really nice. The kids did really well. I was like, oh my God, this is really cool. So I'm hoping, we had some people like, oh, we missed the deadline. We're gonna be prepared next year, so.
Do you guys pair up with the school? The school's having, I think the junior high's having history day this Friday. Do you guys do anything with that?
No, they do that on their own.
Okay. Just wondering. Okay, appreciate it. Council, any? No? All right, thank you, appreciate it. Robbie, Public Works.
only supposed to go one time.
Here we go.
This is first time doing one of these, so that's.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, it's covered.
Meter installation kind of slow this month. We had several main breaks and then majority of them, service leaks that was caused by some of the contractors doing the
Rise, the fiber.
Yeah, the fiber. They found some lines we didn't know about. So other than that, we've been trying to split up into different teams, trying to take care of whatever needs to take care of and get all those numbers brought down.
Well, usually I throughout our readings and our meters and stuff, so, that would usually tell them to like,
I don't think, you don't have any questions on any of that? No, okay. Go on.
We only had two sewer stoppages, they weren't major, I mean, it was barely starting when we caught them. we check manholes Monday and Friday, so. Try to
So
get it
Wendy's?
before it happens, yeah. Bad.
Peace. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, one of them was here, at City Hall. One of the clogs was here.
Don't you look at me.
That was the last council meeting.
Out the minutes.
It's,
It was a citizens award. Yeah, we definitely got a. first round on that.
Well, we tried to get back cameras installed in the bathroom. No company will do it.
Hey, this is live for you, okay?
Well, I said, no company will do it.
Okay.
All right, on the finals, I mean, those are just people that move out or it's, like the Rosh Coleman homes, they final out new customers.
Oh, those are homes that you.
Some of them are new and some are just residential that, you know, these are. That's about it. I did want to say that this weekend coming up, Saturday, on Sunday night, which is the 19th, through Monday morning, the 20th, we're gonna do a partial shutdown of the city. I want to install the valves right here in front of St. Andrews for a new fire hydrant for the coffee shop. We have that coming up. I took back T samples on Rosewood, took 12 samples, they all came out good, so they'll be ready whenever they want to start installing those mains too, our city mains.
So Robbie, let's go back to that one so the council's
How much?
aware. So Sunday night
Sunday
into
night, the
Monday,
19th, yes, the
we're gonna
19th.
lower the water pressure. They're gonna try to keep it at 20
We're
or
gonna
above,
try to
so we don't go into a boil notice. So they can manipulate it with fire hydrants and stuff like that, like they've done before. But we just need to be prepared. Let folks know that night, the water pressure, we're gonna have to lower it, in order for us to be able to do the work. And it's in a few sites, right? It's like 2 or 3 different
I got
sites.
one's gonna be on Wisdom, I gotta change out a tapping cell
Okay.
corporation battery, and then, over here, what, because I may not.
That's this Sunday?
Yes, the 19th.
And the reason we're doing it that day is so that we can go ahead and have a chance to take the samples on Monday.
Samples that need to be, yes.
If we drop below 20, then we can go ahead and get them taken care of before Thanksgiving. And the other reason we're doing it on Sunday is because school is out. So we don't have to worry about the schools being put in an awkward position. They can't prepare the food for our kids. You know, so we're gonna do it on Sunday. So please spread the word. Let folks know.
What time are you gonna start?
I'm thinking about coming in at 10, I gotta have it done before 4 in the morning, because, the center. They have patients about 4:45, I believe.
10 PM on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll be coming in about 10, starting everything prepared.
So Richie, see if we can get stuff out.
Yeah, just give me the updated, and we'll get it pushed out, and get it on the board, and get
And
it
start
pushed
getting
out.
folks out. Very good.
Is this just your monthly hours?
Yeah, our mental hours will come in. Locates, it looks like they're kind of starting to slow down a little bit. I think the last time we talked to them, they still had 60,000 feet to go. So they're getting there.
I'll have an update here with what they passed on completion. Okay, so 549 is our new amount, have we seen that, and we are on 462. And this is on a calendar year, right?
Yes, so this is on the calendar year. This does not reflect the additional 11 acre feet we bought though. That was all sent off to the Edwards, so once that's approved, we get to add that. But keep in mind, this is with a full year underwater restriction, some phase of it. So we're gonna be right at it, so thankfully we got some rain.
Yeah. With that, so all the numbers of the flushing of well number 2, those are all count towards this year, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I have all the hours that I'm doing and just multiply them by the 600.
Okay. So what was I included for this year? That'd be good. Okay. Council, anything for Robbie? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, Richie. He did his in 5 minutes.
Good, so you could be.
This is a PDF or what? Okay, let's just walk there. You controlling it? All right, let's walk there. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Still, as you can see, only 6 commercial, all these homes we got, not one single residential alarm. Interesting. Go ahead. Basic stuff, pretty much the same every month. Keep on going. Citation, we'll look at that briefly. How many go up to the top, which like you said, number at the top, 258. So, speeding, we had almost 100 of those, no insurance, driver's license related. Still got lots of people don't have driver's license, suspended license. Vehicle registration, 70 of those. I'm curious in a year or two when they do away with the inspection, that's gonna probably drop way down. I'm not sure how that's gonna work because I know a lot of these vehicles probably shouldn't be on the road because of stuff, but I don't make the level decisions at the state level. Anyway, you can go on. We can glance, we just keep on going through the racial profile stuff. That's just stuff we do on again, if you're new, a monthly basis, just to help us with do it at the end of the year. A lot of this data is not very relevant.
Let me ask you about that, Richie. You say you compile this annually.
Yes,
You-
in compliance with the state law.
So you send it
very
off to the
specific.
state. How many years have you been required to do it?
It right after 9/11, it was in the process prior to 9/11, which was 2001, right? So I think it's been now probably 17, 18 years.
In those almost 20 years, has the state ever questioned our,
No, they're
racial
not,
profile?
no, they're not even gonna look at the data. They don't, see, that's the whole issue. The data itself doesn't even it does not indicate anything. That's the problem. Because it's all going to depend on what, it's all going to depend on your particular population makeup or where you are. I mean, you gotta understand, there's towns there's towns 200-300 people that write, 10 times the tickets we write probably. And it's all people traveling back and forth to work at factories or to go to Houston. So really the data is really what it's about is searches and all that.
Mhm.
But we have such a few number of those that,
You've never had anybody from the state question?
no, they,
Is this
well, I don't
fine?
think, they don't, they just TCO doesn't investigate it or look at it. They just take it and repost it.
Okay.
Yeah, and now originally when this started, a bunch of legislatures and different groups,
Mhm.
civil rights group would all request your data. But they don't, I mean, now they get it from the state, but nobody ever, I don't know what you'd have to trigger something, but the thing is, there's no way, it's just it's a law that passed, we comply with it. I don't really know, there's a lot of it that probably some people would tell you, even people that would tell you that really it's meant to look like we're doing something, It filled a need.
Thank you.
Adult arrest, that's warrants, thefts, warrants, assault deadly weapon, that was a deal, that was it, Stripes. Lady pulled a knife on the clerk over there because she didn't like something, I don't know. The tacos were good, I wouldn't, even a bad one, I still wouldn't pull a knife on nobody. 1026, I think that's the one maybe Gordon chased on Railroad Street. You can keep going, ma'am. DWI, that criminal trespass, warrant service, a little bit of everything. Go ahead, ma'am. No juvenile, no robbery, I don't want to with robbery. None of that. No burglary, blue drive, burglary vehicle. One of those vehicles was recovered, an unlocked vehicle parked on the side of the road right by Tom's house. Kid just left some guns in there. A shotgun was recovered this week in Bear County. So we have one of the guns was recovered, no arrest were made. Criminal mischief, you got little things like damaged fence tickets where somebody probably hit it with a car. Little graffiti in the park, broken window on Gray Street, graffiti on Main Street. That's at old church. HEB, they're our number one customer. We got shoplifting. Theft of a boy and girl statue from the community center. The community cemetery. I don't really remember that. That must have come in later. City water meter on Butch Cassidy. That's a house under construction. big diesel theft. That's a commercial ring run around all over the state stealing diesel. They got arrested in Houston. Houston had a task force looking for them. They believe those same people that hit here got arrested. They were manipulating the machine. We've got, the state comptroller's office, I think their special agents are heading up that investigation. But right, David? Yeah. Shoplifting, baby items. When it's still baby items, you hope they're stealing for their own baby and not to sell at the flea market. But that's, let me see, Benton Street, we did that F-250 was recovered, the trailer's still missing, again, unlocked vehicles, people are getting in them. HEB plus, shoplifting, unknown items, found property. Just go ahead, man. Same old stuff, emergency management, school, but we did some escorts, we had department head meeting. I'm on that P-Call advisory committee at the San Antonio College Law Enforcement Academy. I had a meeting up there where we approved rules and policies for the cadets. Everything from changing uniform colors to passing grades. It's kind of cool, makes me feel important. We did heavy coverage on Halloween night. Band escorts, keep on going there. Criminal. Filed a couple cases with the county attorney's office, going down. Nothing with the DAs. Of course, we've already filed, I think, quite a few this month. Going down. Nothing over in Medina County, which is nice. We filed them electronically. It's not too bad. Human resource stuff. Let's go to the last on the very bottom there. Is there another page of human resource, or should they keep going? Yeah, there you go. 10-5, 11-1, 47 hours overtime, 46 vacation. A half hour personally, charged personally. Now, so starting, I'd say January 1st, or whenever Matt gets back for sure, then we'll basically be eliminating overtime. Overtime would only be in, of course, when I say that with a train derailment or something, that would change. We've had those, but we won't really, traditionally when we're full staff, we don't have any overtime. So we'll basically eliminate overtime. Keep on going there. Beatrice is back. She was out, and she is back. She's been working the last couple of weeks. So November, she's been helping us greatly. She got a lot done at the office. Our volunteer that helps over there. Go ahead. Reserves, actually, Matt's be leaving. We've got Skip Mark. I talked to him this week. He's injured and been out sick at his other job. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead. Fire marshal stuff, food truck inspection, illegal burning. A brush set on fire, some more illegal burning. What else we got? Got another page of that stuff there. Follow up, we did some fire alarm inspection stuff at Best Western, and Costa Teams had a little addition they've been working on. Couple things. One, we went through a class on food trucks, and again, we'll be at some point in time be bringing an ordinance to the council for food trucks. We're going to need that. It's getting a lot of food trucks. We're going to need to get a program in place to regulate them. And we saw some pretty good examples of where stuff went really bad on some unsafe food trucks. And we talked to a lot of inspectors from various entities down there doing food trucks. Update on our vehicles. They are due in the latest update. They did make it out of the factory before it got shut down. They are in Belton. But they're not on everything's not there for them yet, and they are not on the production. They're not on the upfitting list, which is now scheduled out to April. So we're going to check back after after 1st of December and see what the latest status is. Our only option would be to cancel the order, basically, or we didn't really, cancel it and then try to find some other vehicles that we could, force into service, which could be done. But anyway, we'll be monitoring that. Bad vehicles are a tough situation right now.
That's it. Anything? All right.
How far did I go over?
You're short of 10 minutes.
Are you serious?
Y'all should have told me. I'm sorry. All right. Thank you. Appreciate the department heads. Appreciate the updates. Good. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to number 9, executive session, call persistent to the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapter D, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and 551.074, personal matters, to discuss and consider the following items. A, discussion on the status of negotiation on proposed hiring of Zach Meadows as city administrator. Annette, if you can actually go ahead and show us going into executive session 9:08. And Matt and Molly, if you can join us in the back, that'd be great.
You're reading?
All right, let's go ahead, Lynette, if you can actually go ahead and show us back. It's 9:21. We're back at 9:21, no action taken. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 10, discuss and consider items discussed in executive session.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion
Okay,
that we do hire Zachary Meadows to be our city administrator at an annual salary of $105,000. Beginning a 6-month probationary period with the consideration of a 2-year contract at the end of the probationary period. With the start date of December 11th, 2022.
have a motion on the floor?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Go ahead, Richard. You got it.
Richard got the second.
Richard's quicker on the draw.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Zach, if you're listening in, hey, congratulations. All right, let's go ahead and move on to item number 11, informational items. We'll go ahead and start. Nothing? Charles?
Good here, Mayor.
Okay, here we go. Lynette? Matt? David? Go to the back over there. Anything? Richie? Nothing at all, Robbie? There we go, Molly. Anything you need to share?
I'm just glad to be here. I love being in Ireland, so I'm here for whatever you want.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. You good? Richard? You good?
You mentioned the History Day at the junior high this Friday, starting at 8 o'clock till 2. The junior high's been doing this for several years. It's a lot of fun. As a member of the Essex County Historical Commission, I've done a presentation on metal detecting the last 2 years, and I've invited to come back.
Awesome.
So I'll be out there this Friday from 8 to 2, playing in the dirt.
That will be good. It always turns out to be really good.
Yep.
We'll take care of the staff. All right, let's go ahead and go down. We've got a list of stuff for information. First of all, I want to thank Medina County for the assistance as we take care of some of the roads, our own roads in Twin Lakes. Even our bus drivers here recently just commented and said, hey, thank you for everything you're doing. And Medina County has actually partnered up and helped us out for that. And we still have another project that we're going to work on. So it's been good being able to take care of that. I want to go ahead and say thanks to PD for taking care of us. We appreciate the Halloween. You guys did an outstanding job. We had a lot of people turning out different places, and it was safe. That's what mattered. Being able to take care of that, so that was good. Thanks to Matt, City Hall and Public Works, for cleaning up our senior center. Really appreciate you guys taking care of that. Did Wayne help out with that too? Was he out there?
That's public work.
So, we appreciate it. It's a lot better, and actually prepared it, for those of you, just for your awareness, the appraisal office is actually coming to us, so our citizens, if they actually want to challenge their appraised value, they don't need to go to Jordan. We're actually meeting here. So our facility is being utilized for our residents here, so that's working out really good. Thanks to all PD, City Hall, Public Works for the assistance with homecoming parade and getting all those different activities that was happening. A lot of things that were going. Along with that, kudos to the alumni. I think it worked out really good. So about 68. Richard, thank you for being out there and announcing. That was awesome. 68 folks out there. Everybody, the day was pretty. Everything was good. Turned out really good for us, and everybody had a good time on there. I want to thank Shops of Lila and Chamber of Commerce for helping out, getting ready for the holidays and for homecoming and everything. They've been very involved with a lot of the things happening around here. I want to thank Lila ISD Elementary for a great veterans event. They did a great job again, and they had to take it indoors because of the rain. They didn't do the parade, but they actually took it in, and it turned out really good. A lot of kudos from a lot of veterans and their families. Thanks to our council. I want to say, because of this and a lot of things have been happening, I just want to thank you guys. Because you guys are being out there and helping out in the schools and the different programs, the different things. Thank you for being out there and being seen. And people actually see us out there as part of whatever event and different things that are going on. So appreciate you being out there. and doing that. Tax statements. We want to talk a little bit about the tax statements. They went out. So council, just so you know, there was a little bit of a delay with tax statements going out to our residents. There was a glitch, and it was not only in our county, it was multiple counties that were having problems. But those statements should be going out to everybody now. So if they have any questions or they contact you, please refer them to the city hall or to Atascosa to go ahead and get the latest and greatest of what's going on. But it was basically a glitch, a delay doesn't get in.
Medina as well, man, I'm getting there, I mean, I called them and they said, probably, hopefully before Thanksgiving.
She was just here the other day, she stopped by.
It's all the way across.
Yeah, they're trying, it's to do with Harris, it's not to do with.
And I think they're thinking about just having, one county, the whole tax term, instead of having, a little bit of Atascosa, a little bit of, Medina.
And get a little bit of both. Okay, Dr. Neal asked me to go ahead and pass on. We do have a little bit of everything happening in our region. You know, the COVID, the RSV, the flu, but he wanted to let everybody know, please take the precautions as necessary. We do have, the highest thing that we got going on right now is strep, okay? So please be aware that that is around, and pretty much everything across the board, just take care of that. For those that are actually at COVID, still do the 5 days on there, 24 hours before you come back, no fever, no nothing like that, be able to take care of that. The one thing he asked me to pass on is, if anybody's dealing with respiratory, coughing type related things, please send them to get checked out. Because if, unfortunately, some of these people end up with an infection in their lungs or some sort of problems with their lungs, and it becomes even more complicated with them. So please, anything respiratory, get it checked out. Send folks to go ahead and do that. Rise broadband update, they're 80% complete in our city, laying it down. They're gonna come back and they'll give us information for the next meeting on the 27th, a little bit more detail. But here in the next few weeks, they have them in districts, and they said the first district is gonna go ahead and start getting connected. So we're looking at phasing in. He said that probably by the middle of January, everybody should have the opportunity to get connected to fiber by that point. If everything stays current, they don't keep Robbie busy with any water lines or anything like that, but everything is on target. So we're gonna have fiber here within the next couple of months, once the last phase goes through.
Can I ask a question just of everybody? I got a notice, I forget if it was in the mail or online, that said, call them and tell them you're interested and someone will call you back. And I've seen it almost every day on Facebook now. Has anyone received a call from them to talk about pricing and packages, or have they not started doing that yet?
I haven't done anything. I know when they talked to us, they told us about some of the pricing. It's supposed to be cheaper than line of sight antenna.
Okay, well,
So,
I just wondered if they had contacted anybody else and they missed me, if I need to ask them again to call.
they said once they're ready in that first district, and they're saying that the first district should be coming up in the next 2 weeks,
Oh,
that
cool.
they're gonna notify those folks. So it's based on once they're ready and they're connected.
Okay, so I didn't miss it.
So it's gonna be coming. If you see anything, let us know. I would assume they put door handle hangers or something, be able to do that. Okay, reminder, the 16th of November, this Thursday, for all of us, we have Robert Rules training, so make sure that we're here, be able to take care of that. And Matt, we actually have the committees also invited for all that, right?
I'll invite all the committees.
So be able to take care of that. Want to remind also other things on the calendar, the 17th of November, this is Friday and Saturday, the high school theater group, they have their fall production, and this is
The house at Poop Corner.
there you go. And great opportunity for us to go ahead and see them. Last year they went pretty high. This is a competition in different things.
This is just school play, this is not UNL.
Okay,
That
not
was
good.
one act play last year.
Okay,
This is just the annual school play.
so this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Be able
The
to do that.
the middle school does have theirs in beginning, of December.
Okay. Get the stuff so we can send out the flyers to be able to take care of that.
Can I mention one more thing about
Yes.
the house at Poop Corner?
Mhm.
One of the tallest kids in the school was Winnie the Pooh.
No.
And I'm closely related to him.
Well, there we go. Now we know. It's kind of like the Masked Singer. Now we know who the person is behind that. Okay, on the 19th of November, this is Sunday. Let you know we're at the high school. They're having a community Thanksgiving service in the sense of just being able to recognize and do different things for that. So that's going to be pretty neat. The 1st of December, just a reminder for our city employees and for council members, this is our dinner that we're going to have, and it's going to be over at the community center. So please put it on your calendar on that night for us to be able to get together. That'll be good. Special congrats. I know you've heard it, but I got to mention the boys and girls cross country state winners. The band also made it to the 12 best bands in the area. I think they were ranked at number 8 out of 33 teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Boys?
The bands.
Oh, the band.
Yeah, the bands.
Actually, they were tied for 7th place. You had to be 6 or higher to go to state. They were tied for 7th place.
Wow.
So they did a coin toss, and the other number 7 won the coin toss. So they gave us 8th position. We were tied for 7th.
Oh, wow. That's good to know. But still, look at all the bands and just being able to get to that level. That's huge.
Great thing. 2
Um,
years in a row, by the way.
yeah. And we will be recognizing a few of those folks too. Football, they actually ended their season last Thursday, but what a great run. 10 years, never made the playoffs, and they actually did really, really good. So kudos to the coaching staff, being able to, and the parents too, involvement, being able to get them. They did really good. Girls volleyball made it to the first round of playoffs, but didn't advance. But they also had a good year, just being able to represent. And I tell you, I'm excited because I see a lot of those young girls that are coming through, and I think we got a good future. Things happening for us. Girls basketball, they just started 2 big wins already. They're doing really good, and that's going to be pretty exciting here for their season. I do want to put a little special for Alyssa. She, our basketball player, she already signed early. That doesn't happen too early. She's already committed to college. She's already set up, and she's been doing really, really good on the court. I think 35 points on the last game. So she's been doing really good. So it's going to be good. With that in mind, birthdays, we got Melinda over in Animal Care and Control on the 25th of November, being able to take care of that. We got 2 folks that we need to recognize because it's before the next meeting we have. So we need to take care of Miguel, the 18. Yep. He's right around the corner, so he actually gets. We'll get you there you go. And the other person, she's a Veterans Day birthday, Molly.
Oh.
Molly actually gets one. It was her birthday right around the corner. So here you go. And 1, 2, 3.
Years old, so
You're really 46.
46. There you go. So here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Miguel and Molly. Happy birthday to you. Make a wish.
That you don't have a long drive home?
Yes. Good idea.
Okay.
More credit.
And the tradition, most enjoyed.
Hey, you want to
You
share
get
with
one
us?
every month?
He gets to
Birthday.
celebrate with you.
Hey, start your own fun.
Cheers.
The
So,
city,
good
if
one.
the city likes me just the way I am, they want me to lose weight or nothing.
Yep. So we have.
I've seen you ride the bike. You're fine.
Yep.
Oh.
No.
We got video.
I know, we have another one.
I saw him stop
And we have
and
one more at the end of the month. We'll be talking about this gentleman in the next meeting to be able to take care of that. All right, with that in mind, I just want to go ahead and take the time and just give best wishes to all and your families. We got Thanksgiving. We got a lot of things to be thankful for. Please take the time to be able to do that and reflect on those. Please remember our service members and families that are serving all over the world that will be either in a deployed location or another base somewhere, and they actually have Thanksgiving. But also, please, those in our local areas, if you know of a family, of an individual, please, let's get them connected. There's organizations here, there's churches here that are doing things for them. Let's make sure that we pair them up so they also get a chance to be able to celebrate Thanksgiving among others, because there are folks that are willing to assist with that. With that in mind, any last minute, anything else? All right, with that, do I have a motion for us to go ahead and adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Got a motion?
I'll second it, yeah.
Got a second? All those in favor? Any opposed? Let's go ahead and show 9:36. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.